Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Admiral Fowler, you and I had an extended discussion last week about activity in the region, as well as some of the push factors contributing to migration flows that are exacerbating the challenging situation at the southern border. I'd like to focus on the strength of criminal organizations in the region. A recent report by the Center for Strategic and International Studies found that the countries of the Northern Triangle lose more than 3% of their GDP to organized crime each year. These TCOs also contribute to outsized homicide rates and undermine governance and security in the region. The bottom line is they're in some ways better resourced than state actors and have proven capable of trafficking guns, money, drugs, and people. It's a major problem. Given these dynamics, do you feel you have the authority necessary to conduct operations that will effectively disrupt their activity in the long term?
They, as you mentioned, Senator, they control territory. They're well funded. They have a strength of in close to 200,000 when you look across the region, which is on par with all the police and military forces in total. So a powerful enemy to host nations, democracies, and direct impact on our homeland defense here in the United States. Our role is appropriately in support, detection, and monitoring, which means we find out as much as we can, and where we have authorities, we pass that off to law enforcement to interdict. And then we work at building our host nation partners' capacity. We are short in intelligence assets. We have less than 1% of those assets. We need additional capacity to build our partners so that they can take care of this problem themselves. And we have received about the right amount of presence, but it's important we stay on the field. An example of that is our Joint Task Force Bravo, which is a small team of about 700 soldiers and airmen and Marines at Sotocano, Honduras, that can support law enforcement with lift, with some intelligence, but more importantly, can rapidly respond. We saw that this past fall, 2 back-to-back hurricanes, major hurricanes, and we saved hundreds of lives rapidly. And what that does, builds trust and actually helps us build the case for these partnerships and sustainable security long-term.
Earlier you stressed, and you did again, that the 1% of ISR funding goes to Southcom. Is that correct?
It's 1% of the overall assets and capabilities, Senator.
So, but beyond that, if you were to wanted to ramp up the effectiveness of disrupting their activity, what other resources would you need?
Senator, we've got to come up with a more effective whole government effort in the United States and really get at mapping these networks. We're doing that, but it's nascent. It needs more effort. And finding the center of gravity, what's key to each organization, and then going at disrupting, defeating, or deterring that. And most of that is a law enforcement or a judicial or a partner nation effort with Southcom in support. So we play a critical role, but it's got to be more holistically designed here in the U.S. We can't interdict our way out of this.
Well, thank you, Admiral. General Van Herk, you mentioned in your testimony the Pathfinder program as a complement to the work done by the Defense Innovation Unit. Also, the importance to being able to rapidly field capabilities of the future. As chair of the Emerging Threats and Capabilities Subcommittee, this is something I've been thinking a lot about. Are you looking into technologies like artificial intelligence to assist in processing the increasingly large volumes of data that come from our sensor systems?
Senator, absolutely. As a matter of fact, Pathfinder does exactly that, uses machine learning and additional capabilities. We must go down that path to operate in a timely and efficient, effective manner.
Any sense if our adversaries are doing the same thing, using these technologies?
Absolutely, Senator, especially China. They're actively moving forward with artificial intelligence.
And then finally, are there any research gaps that you see that you think we should be investing more in?
Not specific to research. I would say we must go to space sooner and space-based capabilities that give us persistent domain awareness. That's where I would be focusing my efforts right now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Kelly. Let me recognize Senator Hawley, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here.